Hi, my name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer, motivational speaker. Today we're here at the Nez Perce National Historic Site. Nez Perce Historic Site's actually well worth stopping by. I've driven past this thing a few times when driving from Boise to Lewiston on various trips, or even on my expedition to Antarctica. I actually popped by at the, was it the 45-degree latitude mark, where you actually are halfway in between the equator and North Pole. But on that same highway, there's actually a really sizable visitor center here. And I'd actually never stopped by, and now of course I'm regretting it because it's well worth visiting. You can see behind me here, there are some grave sites. I'll tell you about the visitor center in a moment. Hang on. But some grave sites here that are from the family called the Brettel family. And apparently they're part of a mixed heritage family, and a lot of the sites here, the grave sites, are actually children born like 1901, 1903. In fact, instead of telling you, I'll walk around and show you. It's actually pretty darn sad. That's definitely a tough place in life here, so we'll just check this out. And then I'll tell you about the other, there you go, 1909, February 23rd, 1909 to February 16th, 1910. So David Brettel, he didn't even make it a year. E.J. and Sarah Connor, yeah, they didn't survive either. Let me see if we can get this better view for you there. I guess they were both twins, and they both died in the same time, 3 years. So you can see it's actually like a lot of the native markers that are around the region. It's actually a very sad testament. This one born before World War I and died during. Not that Abner was actually in the war. And then I'll just kind of pan around and check this out. This is a real critical thing too, is these are native grave sites, so definitely don't want to be getting in there and messing with them, because that is a federal crime. We don't want to do that. Plus, it's just plain rude. So you can see here the native grave sites. It's pretty cool. Now, about this whole Nez Perce Visitor Center. And let me get my camera back up. Now you can see what the landscape looks like here. I mean, it's volcanic. It's definitely harsh and somewhat forbidding. So I don't know exactly how the Nez Perce actually lived here, but that they did. They figured out somehow. There was a missionary who came here in late 1800s, something like that, and I've got the info. I'll pop on stuff, but he came here and he was setting up a house site about 3 miles south of this location. And of course, the local Nez Perce said, "Dude," and of course they didn't say "dude," but whatever. He said they told him, "Dude, you do not want to build there. The mosquitoes are intense." And what did he do? Oh, blah blah blah. Yeah, sure. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Come spring thaw, the mosquitoes, and of course, he had to move his site. There's the river. Can you see the river right behind me? Yeah, there's a river down there. Cool. And so apparently near the river is much less worse. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And so he actually moved his mission down there, and apparently there are actually ruins of the missions. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go film this. So if you come visit, you should go check it out. But really, the only ruin, I guess, is a chimney. So there's not a lot left. I mean, it's a wooden building, 100+ years old, wet, snowy environment. It's going to be toast. So there's not a lot to see. But here's where the trick is. In the visitor center here, which is over there, I'll turn the camera around. Hope you're enjoying me turning the camera around, because that's all I got to do. I'll show you what the experience is like. I've got a little bit of film inside the visitor center there. Sweet. There you go. I got visitor center, grave sites. I mean, what kind of filming is this? Now, this isn't Werner Herzog or Steven Spielberg. I mean, I'm standing here in the Monterey Aquarium fleece jacket, but hey, whatever, come on, work with me here. But that, if you're driving by and you're zooming right along, you'll see this sign on the highway. It says Nez Perce National Historic Park, right? Park. See, now, this is the hard thing about filming these things. I've gone over in there and filmed it, but I got to keep it all in my head, tell it to you, and not mess it up. Let me tell you how tough documentaries are. Like, really try and do these things while you're kind of hungry. You've been driving for 6 hours straight. There's highways there are people looking at you, and all while keeping it totally entertaining. Not as easy as you might think. All right, now that we got that commentary out of the way. So this historic site behind me, you can actually get in there and walk in totally free. You don't have to have the National Parks Pass for this one, thank goodness, because that thing's expensive. And you can go inside and check out some of the different native artifacts. Now, the neat thing is in there, I watched somebody walking out, heading home, commuting around. Some of the Native Americans or Indians or I don't know, Native Indians, I don't know. I've heard all sorts of things, so whatever the case is, he was actually walking out and they actually work here. So it was actually pretty cool to see some of the people interacting there as part of the community of the natives and both indigenous, non-indigenous people. Whew. Well, why don't we just talk about something else? People get all upset about that stuff nowadays, but suffice to say, when you go inside, you could check out this canoe. And this canoe is, how long was that thing? It's about 16 feet long. So I've filmed that thing going along, and you'll see it. I'll overlay the video here. But that thing is huge, and what the Nez Perce did is they figured out how to chop down these trees and hollow out that canoe, and I think that was Douglas fir, one of the local trees. Funny, because there are like no real pine trees. I'm looking around, I don't see any pine trees at all. I have no clue where they got the wood for that, but in any case, before the horse came here, and the horse were introduced by the Spanish into America in the late 1500s, 1600s, and by the time the Lewis and Clark cruised through here, that's another video, got several Lewis and Clark things going here. The native Indians, we'll call them native Indians this time, had learned to tame the horse, were very proficient horsemen, and I don't know if the women rode, but whatever. And so you can see that in there, that before the horse came, this canoe is how they got around. And so they actually traveled the river, the Clearwater, the Salmon River, the Snake River, all those rivers. That's actually how they got around. They got in this huge long canoe where they could transport a heck of a lot of stuff and then paddle and pole all along. And it was actually pretty darn impressive. I mean, I've maneuvered my own canoe around, but never a huge wooden canoe. I suppose it's more stable, but boy, if you dump all of your gear over and your supplies, you're in real trouble. So that's actually neat to see on its own. But then they have a closed off area that actually has no feed, and it's closed just for security or environment. I'm not sure which, but in any case, go through the door, say, hey, how's it going? It's okay if I can check this out? And they, yeah, of course. And they have the coolest artifacts ever. The National Park seems to have done a very good job of preserving these historical artifacts from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. They have native headdress, tomahawk pipes, what else? Buckskin clothing and beads. You can tell some of the beadwork is modern because it's real bright and shiny, or maybe it's ancient, who knows, but you can tell that that's all bright and shiny. And then you can see that, and interestingly, part of the display talks about in the 1940, was it the 1940 Bald Eagle and Golden Eagle Act, Congress enacted that it's illegal for anybody but recognized and authorized tribal members to actually own, possess, sell, or trade eagle feathers. So just as an FYI and a warning, if you actually find what you think is an eagle feather, you're actually not allowed to possess it, own it, or whatever. Of course, I've talked to people over the years like, oh yeah, I found one on the wall, I put it in the house, whatever. But Yeah, just a word of warning, if you happen to come across something that looks like a golden eagle or bald eagle feather, it's actually illegal to own it. So there's a little display on that. So it's actually kind of strange. You see all these headdresses by the native tribes, and so you see all these eagle feathers, and those suckers are huge. I mean, it's a big bird. I've had them. I went to a rehabilitation center near Sequim, Washington, and actually I had this eagle fly by me because they allowed me in there, and it said stand right against the wall, and that thing brushed by me. It's a huge bird. So that's a really unique thing to see. I mean, these artifacts are over 100 years old. Plus they have ancient arrowheads and spearheads and stone grinders and all some stuff that's thousands of years old. I don't even know. So that was actually pretty cool too. So as I'm talking about this, I'll overlay some of the videos so you can see what these different things are like. So as you're driving on the 95 south from Lewiston to Boise, either direction, so you stop by and see this, it is totally worth the stop. I mean, it's like 20 minutes, you hop out of your car, you walk around, but you just get a taste of the local artifacts, and it's really pretty interesting. There apparently are trails that head down that way. I'm not going to take you there because it'll take me forever to walk down there. Plus it's windy and it's just about to rain again. So well worth doing. Also, there's a snake warning sign. Yeah, let me go warn you about that. So do be mindful about that, because in this part of the Rocky Mountains there are rattlesnakes. I don't really like rattlesnakes. I don't know anybody that does. Hey, hopefully this fuzzy thing's working for the microphone. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to be. Bought this fuzzy thing because otherwise you hear this wind, which really isn't enjoyable. Oh, here's a rattlesnake sign. The service road. Yeah, venomous snakes. I do not like venomous snakes. In fact, I don't like any snakes. I think I embarrassed myself one time, but here's a sign. Just so a word of warning, not usually during the winter, but during the summer, definitely venomous snakes around. Yeah, just be mindful. You don't want to get bit. Don't mess with them. Don't play with them. Don't poke them with a stick. Don't think you're Steve Irwin, because you're not. You're not a snake handler. So just a word of warning. But when you're blowing by at 65 or miles an hour, it's definitely worth stopping by. I was pretty impressed. I've blown past this place a couple times, but then I got the park brochure, and it actually tells you about all the different locations in the region. There's actually a lot of stuff here. There's like 35 different historic sites. There's a place called Heart of the Monster. Yeah, right. That I've driven past, I don't know, a dozen times. I had no clue about it. You just walk out there, check it out. It's an ancient site. Totally cool. So well worth popping into the Nez Perce historic site, checking it out, talk to the staff, and find out what else is around here. And you can actually have quite a historic experience rather than just driving along the Palouse, seeing the volcanic rock and everything. There's actually a lot more that's gone on here. Well worth your time. My name is Aaron Linsdau, Polar Explorer, Motivational Speaker. Thank you for watching The World Beyond Experience, the world beyond your doorstep, the world beyond your city limits. Please like and comment on my video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.